just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today.
Good morning. Yeah, turn the mics on. I know. I'm sitting here talking with Scott Erwin with the Veteran Service Office here in Springfield, here in Robertson County. He is our Wednesday guest. First Wednesday. Oh, welcome to it. May Day. May Day, May Day. I asked my kiddos yesterday. I said, do any of you guys know what May Day is about? Do you know what that is even about? Do you know what May Day is about? What the Happy May Day?
I don't.
It's a labor thing, you know. It's about the labor unions coming on, and honestly, I can't speak to it, but it has to do with workers' rights and things like that officially. And you know, and of course, I asked my kids. I said, "Do you know what May Day means?" And they're like, "That we need help."
Right.
And I said, "Well, yeah," but anyway, it's actually something along the lines of what they have going. What has to do with labor unions and all that, I think. But anyway, hi y'all. How you doing? I'm U-Turn LaVern. Scott Erwin's in the house, and we're just talking just about life and how busy it is. And my grandson, congratulations, made the travel team for baseball. Our summer is over. It's just like, we were just laughing. We're like, okay, well, we know what our summer plans are as much as we can get there. I mean, all this stuff I think it's so exciting, but I don't see how some parents do it. I do not.
It's a juggle.
And I'm the grandparent, so I'm like, oh, I'll be there as much as I can. You go, sweetheart. You know, but it's going to turn our summer upside down. Because, I mean, I was looking at the schedule. Every weekend in June but one, he's playing baseball somewhere. And we're not even done with the season yet, you know. So I'm like, oh, but he's good. He's a good little baseball player. He's only 7, gonna be 8 in July.
That's good.
So it's fun. It's fun. My kids didn't play baseball, and the reason why, we always told our kids they had too long of a strike zone because they were all so tall, and so that was you got too long of a strike zone. Baseball is not our thing, and my kids to this day are like, you didn't let us play baseball. I couldn't keep up with it. I have 4 kids, and I, worked full time. We were running a roofing company. There was no way we could keep up with the schedule, and so we let them play sports, but it had to be limited. I mean, we just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But how many kids you got?
2 boys, 2 girls.
Okay.
2 boys, 2 girls.
How old are they?
My oldest is 26. She's in White House. Have a grandson. He's beautiful, and
fun.
And then my youngest, Laura, she's 16. She's a sophomore this year.
Oh boy!
So
where'd she go to school?
Out at Liberty Creek.
Okay.
Out there,
yeah.
We're right on the edge of Gallatin, really.
Yeah.
So
that's a great school.
And my son Jeremy, he's graduated. He starts actually TCAT in Portland tomorrow.
Oh.
So he's getting into the machining, the welding.
Yeah, that's a cool. If y'all haven't checked out TCAT,
yeah,
that's really cool stuff, man.
And it's a Tennessee Promise covered,
yes,
and so it's a year certification.
It is fabulous.
So we're excited to see what he does.
Yes. We've got several kiddos graduating out of Greenbrier that are going into the TCAT program, and I mean, and it's getting back into the trades to where you are getting kids working quicker and that want to, instead of getting all this. I mean, college is wonderful. I have a degree, all my children, all my children have degrees, my husband. So, I mean, I'm all about college if it's what you need to do.
Right.
And for my kiddos, they all needed their college degrees to do what they wanted to do, and so that's wonderful. Me, I did not. I mean, I could totally be a broadcaster without even my career would have allowed me to teach as a career teacher, as long as I had the career back. And I was telling Scott, I've got to go to Murfreesboro tonight for my EPP. We are all about acronyms in the school world, but for my educational preparedness program, they just don't let career teachers go into the classroom and just teach. You've got to be taught to teach. And I've learned a lot. I mean, it's very helpful. It's very helpful, but hi, that's just us saying hi. It took us 6 minutes. How y'all doing? Anyway.
Yeah, I think the you mentioned the trades. I think that's we need more of it.
Yeah.
And you're right. The college used to be the expectation.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't have to be.
There's a lot of young men and women out there who are auto mechanics, and they're doing just fine.
Oh, and they're making bank too.
You know, because we're gonna need that.
Yeah, I've got some high school kids right now that are, because I'm homeroom, cat time is what they call it, for juniors, and so these kiddos are 17, and they're working, and they're working late, and they're coming in and they're tired. They're like, Miss Vivio, I made this much, and and they're already hitting decent careers, and I've got a couple that are in the auto world, and mechanical and that kind of thing. And they're making good money already. And so once they get, out of school and get all the, the tech, because they're talking about going in more of a technical training kind of thing. And so it's just interesting to watch. There's just so many more options for them. I tell my students, I say, I know so many people are like, oh, it's just so terrible out there. No, it's not. I mean, it is. I mean, yeah, the economy's, it's expensive right now, but it goes in waves, and it is a time that, man, sky's the limit on what you can do. People go, I told my kids the other day, I said, quit letting people tell you the sky is falling. The sky's the limit. Yeah. If I had grown up at their, in this time period, I'd be like, look out, man.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. I know but one thing I wish we got back to was, I remember the days of home ec and basic car maintenance and balancing a checkbook.
We're doing that.
And my 16-year-old now I was talking to her about credit and credit score about a month ago, and she was just lost.
Yeah, well, see, but they're renewing that. They have nice. What is my friend Miss McCullough? We got this new teacher this year, and she's just a riot. Or Miss McCullough, and she teaches human science, like It's not your, I had a picture I took, because we actually talked about her, because they did Cupcake Wars. Let me see if I can find this real quick. But, hang on a second. Where is it? Okay, here it is. More Than Home Ec. Her class is More Than Home Ec. It's like human sciences, or I forget the actual title of the class. But her classroom is about teaching you basic life skills.
Good.
And one day I was like, I went looking for her, because I'm always putting her on. I like to talk to her and, put her on camera some. And I say I do that a lot. I've only done it a few times, but she's just very animated. And I went looking for her for something, and she was outside teaching the kids how to change oil.
Nice.
Change a tire. Those kinds of things. And it's life skills. And she teaches them, the basics in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And they had a cupcake war the other day, and that's in our news. That's why I had that picture, is in the news today. That's for Greenbrier High School, WGHS we call it. We covered the results of their cupcake war. And so, I mean, they just are learning those life skills. And that's so good. She had another class, and I can't remember the specifics of it, for next year. And it's along those same lines of teaching kiddos, the things they need to launch into life. And so we're returning to that. I think they're seeing that.
That's good.
And at least at Greenbrier, we're doing it. And, y'all need to take a look at Greenbrier, man. We're kicking it. I'm just saying, we're kicking it, y'all. Anyway, Scott Erwin's in the house. He is the head of our Veteran Service Office. And I see that we have a couple of young ladies that are missing. I thought all of y'all were coming in this morning.
Yeah, we talked a little bit. The ladies that I'm fortunate enough to work with, they're just not morning people, so they struggle a little bit. But maybe next time. We usually try to, kind of march out the show and give a little bit of different personalities and have them on when they can. But I know we were talking earlier this morning. I talked with Terry yesterday. Terry Wilson. Yeah. And the next show coming up this month, he's probably he wants to be here.
Okay, good.
So it'll be nice to have him back. A lot of our, Robertson County family knows Terry. Mm-hmm. He's the face of the office for many, many years. Mm-hmm. He's still active. I think his plate is still as full, but it's more of kind of what he's wanting to do versus what he has to do.
Well, and that's just it. And it was time for him to, do some retirement. And, I retired and started teaching. So, I thought, maybe we'll find a place for him to teach. He'd be like, I don't think so, LaVern. Mm-hmm. But as, you were talking about when he comes in for the next show, what we're doing is I was in the office the other day talking to you guys, and it's going to work better for you guys, but your schedule to to stop coming in on the first Wednesday and come in on the fourth Wednesday. Yep. So we're going to start that this month. So on the 22nd, you guys will be back in here.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll have you guys in on the 22nd, and we'll talk all things veteran services. So we're going to get 2 visits with you guys this month, but just kind of make a note of that. If you're somebody that, we have a lot of veterans in this area that tune in specifically to hear, is there something new that I need to be aware of as a veteran? And so they'll seek out this message. So we just want to let you know they're going to, starting this month, move to the fourth Wednesday. So they're going to be back in here on the 22nd. And when is Memorial Day? That's going to be before Memorial Day. Yep, because Memorial Day is on the 27th. So that'll be good because you guys end up doing stuff for Memorial Day. We'll look at that. We'll kind of look at that calendar and see what y'all have going on that day. But and that's going to be right there at the end of school, y'all. My goodness, we are knocking on the door. My seniors, they got 8 days. In Robertson County, they have 8 days left.
Wow.
Today. Because next Friday is their last day. And then the other kids have 10 more days in addition to that. So 8 days for seniors, 18 days for everybody else, y'all. Summer, here we come.
Well, it's knocking, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness. And Dr. Causey last year, when I said, man, I can't believe we're going to be out for summer and it's going to be so weird and all that. And he goes, oh, LaVern, it's just like a long weekend. You'll be back. And he was right. It just goes so quick, but it's all good. So what have we got going on in the world of veteran services? Is there something new, anything that you've got that you need to make veterans aware of?
Well, we know we've got some of the Legion things we'll cover here in a bit, but really with the veterans, what we're trying to push out, as the VA's been trying to push out, because of the PACT Act of 2022, which Biden signed into law, that kind of opened the window for some medical diagnosis to be connected to service locations where you may have served are now recognized. It also, one of the big things it did was open the door more than it's ever been for veterans into VA healthcare. So veterans who, for one reason or another, may have been previously not accepted into VA healthcare, that door has been opened because of the PACT Act. And so there was a rumor, one of my veterans I'm working with, she said, Scott, I thought we had to apply by August of 23 because the PACT Act was signed in August of 22. I said, there were some effective dates the VA used for that example, but when it comes to VA healthcare or disability compensation, pension, you can apply for that at any point. There's, when the VA awards a program, they look at how far back do they have to go for retro pay. That's a whole other thing. But, if you have questions, like I've done the last couple of times on the show, please give us a call, 615-382-6506. 615-382-6506.
Okay.
Just give us a call. I'm really trying to get, my priority right now is getting the word out to our veterans. Hey, we're here. I did a home visit yesterday in White House. So my veteran was shut in. He can't get out. Very difficult for him to get out. And so, I'll come see you if you're not able to come see us. So we just try to do what we can to make sure our veterans are getting taken care of, get them into VA healthcare if we can. Sometimes what they have is limited, and that VA healthcare is it. So, but yeah, we're here.
Yeah, and that's more than anything. I see veterans a lot that I start talking to them about. Do you talk to your veteran service office? Well, no, I came back, I'm okay. And I'm like, are you, and you start talking to them, and you find out there's really some stuff going on, especially our Vietnam vets. Of course, they're near and dear to my heart because I grew up in the 60s, and we lost our hired hand that I was super close to in Vietnam. And my husband's got a lot of family that served in Vietnam. At the top, well, his Kenneth Vivio, he was Green Beret, jump master, all that in Vietnam. So we've got a lot of connections to that, and so many of them come out and they've got stuff going on that they still don't realize is connected
Yeah.
to their service in Vietnam. And there's help for them now. Not just for them. They're saying, well, I'm okay. Well, but this is a benefit that would help your family tremendously. And so I wish there was some way we could just make sure every veteran comes and at least says, hey, here I am, registers with you guys.
Sure.
Well, this is something Terry and I talked a lot about. Is you have a veteran and you just assume that once they pass, they're going to have some kind of a military funeral. But if you don't make those arrangements ahead of time, that's just about impossible to get done at the last minute, isn't it?
It can be.
It's pretty challenging.
It can be difficult. We're really, and unfortunately,
Not impossible, but I mean, it's a struggle.
Unfortunately, a lot of times we find in what we do, we're kind of working behind that 8 ball.
Yeah.
My widowed spouse comes to me and I lost James yesterday. What do I do? And so I am a huge advocate for getting the word out to our families and my spouses. You know, hey, he's service connected for his heart and diabetes because of herbicide exposure in Vietnam. If something happens to him, make sure the doctor knows one of those 2 things has to be on that death certificate. You know that ahead of time. I'm very much a pre-planner.
Yes, you have to be
so,
with this stuff.
Yeah, and so if you come see us, we can register for pre-burial at Middle Tennessee State Veterans Cemetery out at Pegram. It's beautiful there. When a veteran is placed out there at Pegram, whether it's cremated remains, traditional burial, part of what they do is they make sure that honors are rendered. So it's not something you have to go out and organize. They make sure it happens. So when we have had a shortfall from the branch of service, our American Legion here, Post 45, where Terry's the commander, they many times have stepped up to do those honors when the veterans branch of service isn't able to accommodate. You know, if a veteran is going to be placed on family land, sometimes the branch of service, because that's not their tradition, a traditional cemetery, they may not do that.
Right.
So the American Legion steps in a lot when we ask them to say, hey, veteran passed away and they're looking for services on or about this date. And so the Legion, we're fortunate to have a honor guard with the Legion that fills in those gaps.
I love it when I love seeing the honor guard because a lot of them are older folks. And bless them, they're just I just love how they keep serving. I see them, and my heart just is full because these are just precious military folks, and they're getting older, and they just keep coming, and and sometimes we'll have something going on, and I think, man, they got them standing too long.
Yeah.
I get worried about them, but they're so wonderful. But it's just, I love our military, and we are doing it right here in Robeson County, and I'm so thankful for that. Now, you guys, let me do a break, and we need to address the fact that y'all are going to be moving.
Yes, ma'am.
You're going to be moving locations. Let's talk about the timing on that, what people need to do right now, where you are, and how they can just, because y'all have a walk-in day. But just kind of talk about the logistics of where you are now and when you're moving and all of those things. Let's talk about that in just a moment. We're talking with Scott Erwin. He is with the Veterans Service Office, and great friend of this program. We have them in once a month at least. Going to have them in twice this month as they make the switch to the fourth Wednesday versus the first Wednesday. And you'll get to see them at you'll get to see them at Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival too, because there's always veterans out there. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Right now, I want to talk about Cumberland Connect. I have been toying with the idea of getting an extender out at my place, and it's so funny because Cumberland Connect, number one, it's facilitated through Cumberland Electric. If you are a Cumberland Electric customer, you are going to have access to Cumberland Connect. High-speed internet, just a game changer for us out in the country. There was no way the commercial companies were going to bring high-speed internet down into the hollow where I live because we're the only ones down there. It's not feasible. It's just, it doesn't make sense for them. But being able to facilitate it through the electric company, I got high-speed internet now. And I mean, I can have a phone line if I want through them, but I got a gig, $80. I turned everything else off. That's all I've got because Cumberland Connect does it so well. And we're really wanting to get connectivity out in our barns. So I call them And they came out to do, and they ended up not even charging me. They called it a site evaluation because we were talking about putting an extender kind of up in the top part of our house to kind of go out toward the barns. And they said, why don't y'all just, run a piece of conduit in the ground, just under the ground, and we'll come in and pull a line through there, and you'll have wired connectivity in your outbuildings. And I'm like, oh, for the same price. I mean, a great deal. And I mean, the service department for Cumberland Connect, they just answer your questions. They help you to understand it and to make the best decision for your property, for your home, whatever it might be. So you want to know if they're, coming to your house? All you got to do is go to cumberlandconnect.org, or you can give them a call at 800-987-2362, 800-987-2362. Put your address in, and you'll find out if they are already in your neighborhood or when they're expected to come knocking on your door. If you are a Cumberland Electric customer, you are going to have access to Cumberland Connect. They're getting real close to getting everybody on their customer list checked into where you will have availability of high-speed internet with Cumberland Connect. And got to mention the Affordable Connectivity Program. If you qualifying households can get up to $30 per month to help pay for broadband services, and they have packages starting at just $30 per month. How about that? So you could get internet for free. Get in touch with them today, cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org. Always, please let them know you turned sent you. We are talking with Scott Erwin. He is with Veterans Service Office. Now, you are going to be moving. When are y'all doing that?
We are, yes, ma'am. We're excited. And really, in the big picture, it's been pretty neat for me to see kind of the Veterans Service Office evolve here in Robertson County.
Yeah.
Wayne Duggar started the office quite a few years ago back in Greenbrier, just behind the city hall there, and then as it grew, Terry was hired, and they have that side building that was built onto the back of City Hall because it was growing. Mm-hmm. And then when I came on board with Terry in 2019, I said, Terry, I quickly saw that we need a bigger space.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the traffic flow. It was so busy. And we had just small cubicles. And so Terry spoke with our county mayor, Billy Vogel, who's a great advocate and supporter of what we do. And we've got the space we have now, used to be the old credit union. Mm-hmm. And it's worked since we moved 3 years ago. And so now...
And it's in the city building.
So in the Robertson County City Building, right across from where you pay your property taxes.
Right.
And
tags and all that.
Yeah. And so it's been nice to be right there in the building where you're going to come anyway. Mm-hmm. Right. And so come July, they're saying July, the engineer for the county is saying July, August, hopefully July. We'll be moving right across the street from where we are now. The address may change. Hopefully the rest of it, the phone numbers will stay the same. Mm-hmm. IT is working on that, but it's, we're kind of, as the service office has grown, hopefully that footprint that we're going to get across the street come this summer will keep us there for, the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
It's almost 3 times the space we have now. We'll have a dedicated room for veterans to come in. They can do their virtual health visit with their doctor.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Maybe they aren't lucky enough to have that Cumberland Connect and a good connection where they're at. They can come into our office and we can set them up with their appointments. And then, both Abigail and I will have our own office. Gwen is going to have a nice area up front. So we're excited, very excited, mm-hmm. because it's going to help us to better serve our veterans.
I love it. And I know I was in there the other day. It's that building's where you get everything done. We were in there doing some passport stuff and came around the corner and it is a nice space. And but again, you're outgrowing stuff so fast.
Yeah,
and because
a good thing.
You think about it. When did you, how did you come in as a veteran looking for services, and then how did you get involved? I mean, I'm always interested. How were you introduced? Because this office wasn't a thing 10 years ago, was it?
So
I can't remember, because it was something that, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, that just kind of volunteered because he saw veterans needing help. And then it became a job, and then Terry took over from there. But it was his passion. What do you remember the gentleman?
Wayne Duggar, Dan Riley, they really stood up the office, and then Dan hired Terry.
Right.
Now, I come from the Sumner County side. It takes me about almost an hour to get here. So when I retired in 2015, I was a medic in the Air Force.
And thank you.
Thank you. The DAV at the time, they filed my first claim. They went through my medical record. Here's the list of your problems. Claim was filed.
Yeah.
I was extremely clueless about disability, compensation, everything, because I lived in a 20-year military bubble.
Yeah.
Base housing forever.
Yeah.
And so once my benefits were started, I got a little familiar with them.
Yeah.
And then, got to talking to my father, who was a Vietnam veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until several years after he had passed that I started looking at, he had heart disease. And so I really just kind of dove into it and figured it out.
Yeah.
What
was related to his service.
Yeah. And all the presumptive conditions and where he served and all the illnesses you can have. Mm-hmm. So I really just kind of took off and started picking up where I could. Mm-hmm. When I worked out in Sumner as a VSO, I was calling
Veteran Service Officer.
As a Veteran Service Officer, I was calling Terry because Terry's just a world of knowledge and saying, hey, because it was all in an end effort to be better. I want to be better because the better I am, the better I can serve my veterans and families. So you're always, like you were saying with your school, you're always learning, always continuing education. And so I eventually in 2019 moved out here with Terry, and it was probably one of the best things that's ever happened. Terry, he did and still does have the heart for veterans. I'm certainly trying to be as good as Terry was. Big shoes to fill, but I have the heart for my veterans. My home visit yesterday, I told them, hey, we're county employees. I'm not a VA employee. My focus is you. Mm-hmm. Trying to make sure that we can get you what you've earned and what you deserve. So whether it be healthcare or compensation. And so the young ladies that work in the office, both Abigail and Gwen and myself, we have a heart for veterans. We can't always help because of the red tape with the VA. But I can promise you that if you let us, we'll look at your situation. When we brought on Gwen and Abigail, I was telling Terry, my priority was not that they were a veteran. It was, do they have the heart to do the job? Mm-hmm. And that'll just always be most important to me.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you get to know Gwen and Abigail, you'll see they definitely have heart for veterans because of people in their family. Gwen was a military, I don't want to say military brat, but she, her daddy was in which branch?
He was Air Force.
Air Force, that's what I thought. I didn't want to say the wrong thing because she'd get me. But so she grew up in the service, and so she totally gets it. And Abigail has family members, and so her mom even is got the background, and so serving as a VSO, right? Her
she did started in Cheatham.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got people here that truly care about what the veterans deal with. And as you said, when you came out of the military, you were not even aware of the benefits that they had for you. Because here's the thing, guys, they don't get well compensated while they're in the military. And that was such an eye-opener for me with my son. And especially when he was living in the barracks and they were taking money out. Everybody's like, well, they get room and board. No, they don't. They take money out of their pay for mess hall, whether they use it or not. And that just made me crazy. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And for you, I mean, all the things. Yeah. And that is insane. Now, I think I was tickled to pieces when he got out and was able to get his education. And so there's a lot, there is a big benefit, but don't think they pay them much while they're in there. And then they even, take little trickles out of that for things that I thought that the military truly, I'm like most people, I thought that while they're in the military, that the anything to do with their living was covered,
Right.
For their uniforms and their food and all of that, especially if they're living in the barracks. It's not. I mean, if they're deployed, when he was in Afghanistan, that was a different story. But I just was floored. I was floored.
Yeah, and I think I think that's a common misconception where, it's nothing's free. It comes out of your pay somewhere.
Yeah.
And you will not get rich being in the military.
No.
But I joined in '94 for school.
Yeah.
I was going to do my 4 years and get out.
Yeah.
Ended up getting married, having a young daughter, and I was thinking, well, I've got medical, and then before you know it, you're at 10 years. My dad says you might as well stay in.
Yeah.
There were more good times than bad. Deployments are tough. Time away from family. I know Gwen spent time in Japan with her father and her family when he served. Japan was an experience, but I was always gone. I flew on the back of fixed-wing aircraft transporting medical patients around the Pacific. And so probably out of the 3 years that we were there, I was gone for a year and a half.
Right.
And with a newborn.
Did your family get to go with you?
My wife and my son at the time, Tristan.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was a baby.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult. So, and we had no family.
Yeah.
And so you had to rely on the best you could.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it was tough, but you persevere. You did it. It was a blessing. I had no idea what Jesus was doing at the time, but that has helped me be able to do what I do now because I've got my retirement, a little bit extra coming in, and I don't need to be somewhere working 15-hour days, stressed out. I come in, I put in my time here at work, and we're county employees, and so it's helped a lot for it to allow me to be able to do what I do, do what we do.
I love it. And I love talking to any veterans about their experiences in their life. I've got several of my students that are going into the military, and I'm so excited for them because it is going to just get them ready for so much of life that it just prepares you in a way that I can't describe. My son going in was such a great blessing. He was headed down the wrong path. He needed the discipline. He needed the structure, and it was all those things. And cannot say enough about it. And again, coming out of it, being able to get his education, and it was just the best thing, the best thing. And so if you've got somebody that's young in your life and they're talking military, encourage them because it is such a wonderful path for them, especially these days because we're taking better care of our veterans.
Right.
And we're talking with Scott Erwin. He is our veteran service officer here in Robertson County. And are the girls class veteran service officers?
Yes.
Yeah, because that classification, you have to get a certain training. I know when Gwen first got hired, that she had to go into some classes and things like that. So she has the designation VSO. So it's not just somebody, they're just not just throwing somebody in the office. They have to go through special training and do the work to become a VSO. So you've got some really good folks here in our office if you know a veteran that needs some help. Cannot say enough. Again, if you've got a young person that's thinking about getting involved with the military, encourage them because it is such a good path. As a mama of a veteran and a soldier, it was just the best, just the absolute best decision for our family and for my son Jedediah. Lee Marie is throwing a couple of notes up at us and things we want to talk about. Today is May 1st. It is National Military Appreciation Month. And this is a really good point, Lee Marie. She says, if you're a business out there and you want to do something special for the veterans during Veterans Appreciation Month, let us know, and we'll help publicize that and publicize your business and all those things. This would be a really good time. As she is pointing out in the comments here, if you're a church or an organization and you want to honor some veterans in a special way, the Orange Heart Medal Foundation, you can put their names on our wall that is here at Springfield Memorial Gardens. That's something that you could do special this month. And just again, If you have any questions, you can reach out to Lee Marie, retroleemarie@gmail.com, retroleemarie@gmail.com. She'll be in here in just a little bit. She comes in on Wednesdays and does the Go Show from 8 to 9. So if you have questions, she'll be in just a little bit. But there's all kinds of special things you could do for Military Appreciation Month. We need to talk about. Y'all will be involved in what we have going on here at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. And if you've got some things coming up that's on the calendar we want to mention and kind of throw out, I know that you guys, are you coming out to this, or have you got other guys coming?
We'll be out there, both at the Kilgore and also the My Father's House benefit car show and family day.
Yes, that is coming up. That's at the fairgrounds.
May the 11th.
May the 11th. So we've got May the 11th. We've got the big car show happening at the fairgrounds. I had Trent Cobb in here. He's with the Fair Board on Monday, and we went through that entire calendar, and that's coming up, and that's a great benefit for My Father's House. If you're not familiar, if you're new to town and you're not aware of what My Father's House is all about, it is an amazing program. It's just helping those that have found themselves without a place to live, and trying to help them just get through that rough spot in their life. And it started as a cold weather shelter, but now they're working to make it something that's available all the time, like the mission up in Nashville, the Union Rescue Mission. We need that here because we've got homeless people all the time, and they just need a place to take a shower, get a meal, just kind of catch their breath. And if you've not talked to people in the homeless community, there's so many stories, and it's not what you think. It's not what you think. And you would be, really surprised by some of the stories that you hear in the homeless community. So that's going to be a great benefit for My Father's House, May 11th at the fairgrounds, and you guys will be there. So that's a big car show.
We'll be there. The times are roughly 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
We're going to get there early to help set up and, of course, tear down.
Okay.
But usually we'll be located at those events with the Legion tent, which is usually right by the VFW tent. And so in addition to families and veterans that come up with questions about being a member of the Legion, what do I do, transfer enrollment, the Veteran Service Office will be right beside the Legion. So if they have questions about their claim, we can make sure they have our business card, where we're at. So we'll kind of do both at one time. Okay.
Well, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll continue our conversation, because I want to ask you guys about being a part of our Recovery Fest. That would be a place that I would love to have you guys come and be a part of that we have through Recovery Court. But let's pause for a second. I'm talking with Scott Erwin. He's our Veteran Service Officer. He's one of our Veteran Service Officers here in town and serving our community, but somebody else that serves our community. And we kind of tie all this into talking about the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. I'm talking about, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. They're some of the founding sponsors of the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival because it's up in Cross Plains. They are Cross Plainians. They've been there nearly 30 years. They are a part of this community, but now they grew up in Kentucky. So that's why we talk about how that, because they're here, just like me, I've been in Tennessee much longer than I was in Kentucky, but they have their foundation in Kentucky. They've been in Cross Plains for almost 30 years. And so they specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky, because that's where that's their home state. So they can uniquely help you in so many ways when it comes to getting to the real estate table. If you're somebody that's selling property and you are not properly represented with great videography, photography, and how about drone footage? Barry is a marketer. He came out of a marketing background with 17 years of VP of a media marketing company in Nashville. He brings that expertise to the table. They've opened a brokerage office in the downtown square. Rebecca has an agency office up in White House, and they combine those two offices to give you a new branch of the Exit Tree. Same great team, but a new branch in the Exit Tree, Exit Prime Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell, if you've got somebody that wants to mentor and become a realtor, that's something that several of my high school kids are talking about, doing real estate, some full-time, some just part-time, but they can talk to you about that. They came out of different careers and went into real estate. It's something that I really wish I had done early on. My goodness, what a nice, even if you just did it part-time, something that can bring extra income. It is a great way to just have a little something. Maybe that's what you want to do in your retirement is do real estate. But you may find like Barry and Rebecca, I'm just going to do this full time because it is a great career, and they can talk to you more about that. If you want to reach out to them, you can Google them. Barry Richards, Exit Prime Realty, Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. You'll find unique web pages for both of them, and you can just give Rebecca a call. Her number is 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Always please thank them for what they do for our community and for sponsoring one street over. Tell them U-Turn sent you. Scott, so I'll just throw that date out to you that I mentioned, August 24th.
Okay.
Put that on your calendar if y'all can possibly come and work with us at the Recovery Fest. We're having the first ever Recovery Fest here in Robertson County at the fairgrounds, and it's about just making people aware of the services for people who are going through recovery and our veterans. So, I mean, there's a lot of veterans out there that find themselves with medical issues and they get, some kind of an addiction issue going on, find themselves. We have the recovery court actually has a military side of that, the military side of recovery court, to where you can work through your legal issues in a way that they're just trying to help you. Because, I mean, when we had our roofing company, and this has been many years ago, we haven't been roofers since 2009. One of the biggest struggles we had we would have an employee that would get in some trouble and lose a driver's license.
Yeah.
And then they would keep driving, and then it would just pile on and pile on and pile on. And they would feel like it's hopeless. Why do I even try to get above my legal issues because I'm so underwater? There's no way to do it. And that's what Recovery Court is about, is those that really want to do better and they want to have a better life, helping you get beyond all this. And I mean, you've got accountability through it all, but it's a reasonable solution and not just these thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from, driving without a license. And you'd be surprised at the things that just seem impossible to overcome that really have a number one, they have a solution, not always a simple solution, but somebody that will help you through it and help guide you to the easiest path. And oftentimes, I know you have to deal with veterans that are dealing with those kinds of things.
We do.
Yeah.
And we get, you mentioned the homeless veterans. Something that we just realized, certainly I just realized, is that the limited resources that we have here in this county when it comes to emergent shelter. My veteran came in to see me for a discharge upgrade on his DD-214. And as I got to talking to him, he's homeless. I said, "Where are you going to be tonight?"
Yeah.
I said, "On the street." And so we in our office, you find yourself having to pivot a lot with, I just lost my husband, or I just had a baby.
Yeah.
How do I add them as my dependent? And then I'm homeless. And so we're kind of forced to pivot often with, okay, mentally, how can we help? Mm-hmm. And in our job, I always say we have to know a little bit about everything. Mm-hmm. And so when we don't know, you look it up, knowing where to go for those resources that we know about, and working with Operation Stand Down in Clarksville and Nashville. That's what we do a lot of.
Yeah. Have y'all tapped in with the United Way at all?
No, ma'am.
I got to tell you, we've got a great United Way here in Robertson County, because I've gotten to know them very well because, they come in once a week. Brian Pooley he won't be here this week. He's got something going with one of his kiddos, but, it was Ace Timbermeyer and Brian Pooley, and then Tiffany Thompson and Brian Pooley, and they're actually looking for somebody to replace Tiff right now because she's in safe baby court. But as the community person that reaches out and connects all the nonprofits, that you can call 211, and United Way will help you source services through United Way. So 211, and I had no idea that was even a thing until I got to know the United Way folks here in Robertson County. But when I was still working in the church up in Madison before I came here, and I would meet people that just needed resources and I didn't know where to point them, we would call 211 together sometimes, or I would give them the number, say, "Hey, give this number a call and tell them I'm homeless, I'm this, I'm that."
Yeah.
And they will help you navigate the waters. And if they don't have an answer for you, they will do their best they can. And then that helps United Way build a bank of this is what we need in this area. And I think if you call 211, they'll say, yes, Robertson County, the issues with homelessness is, and it's that way for any of the small towns that haven't had to, really look at that yet. In Nashville, of course, we have the Union Rescue Mission. Not every, talk to the home folks that are living on the shore. I don't like the way they do this. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. That's your option right now. You got to navigate those waters. But, we need we need a mission in every town. We really do. And I'm so thankful we've got my father's house that's, navigating those waters. Charlene, thank you so much. She's watching. She's on here most mornings, watching and seeing what's going on. And we're blessed that people like Charlene and so many of them with my father's house took the lead on that and what they're building that into. But veterans, we have my Patriots place too up in the Rivergate area, in the Madison area, which is housing that they've put together. But it stays full. Trying to get availability to get a place in my Patriots place, and that's difficult. Yeah.
Well, that's what we ran into as well up in Montgomery County. Yeah. It's just sometimes the need overwhelms the availability.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an eye-opening experience. But I know Terry and Dan and Wayne Duggar, they built a really good relationship with the VFW, of course, the Legion. And so we can try to navigate those hurdles with the paperwork. It's going to take 48 hours. Well, the American Legion helped get my veteran into a little hotel here in town for 2 nights, so the paperwork admin can be processed. And so we have a good relationship with the resources in the community that we can help. So just please don't feel like you're navigating this thing on your own. We're going to do what we can as an office. And I think we do a lot of things in our office that other places don't do, because I really want to try to help our veterans with whatever they're dealing with. And sometimes you call in favors and you start from A and you get to Z to figure out, So my veteran ended up in Matthew 25 in Nashville, and he's thriving. He's doing great.
That's wonderful.
So, and he was really at his bottom end when we met in my office. So it took us a little bit to get there, but we're okay now.
That's awesome. But I do encourage you to, put 211 in your file of things to call when you're looking for resources, because we like to say that, of course, we have the chamber that builds bridges to all the businesses, but the United Way builds those bridges to the nonprofits, and they just kind of connect all the dots, and that's what they're working to do. And we fortunately have a wonderful one here in Robertson County. We're talking with Scott Erwin. We have a wonderful VSO office, Veteran Service office here in Robertson County. So blessed, absolutely so blessed to have this wonderful office, and I am so thankful for it as a mother of a veteran, of a soldier. I'm pretty protective of my kiddo, and I want to make sure that he gets, taken care of. He was in the infantry, and his hearing's so damaged, because the things that they subject our soldiers to while they're in the military. Oh, my goodness, come on. But we've got to make sure that they get what they need on the other side of it. And I'm so thankful for the folks that help my kiddo. And so if you've got somebody in your family you love that is a veteran, or if you just see a veteran out and about and they've got the hat on, thank them and say, hey, are you being taken care of? Ask that question. Instead of just, when you see a veteran wearing the military hat, instead of just saying, hey, thank you for your service, say, are you getting the services you need? Because so many of them are just not aware of the services available through the Veteran Service Office. So remind you that Lee Marie will be popping in here in a moment with the Go Show. She'll be in here in just a minute, coming in between 7 and 8 o'clock. And between 8 and 9, 7 to 8's me. I'll be heading to school here in just a minute, but we're going to continue our visit with Scott Erwin from our Veteran Service Office. But we are going to pause for just a moment and do another one of our ads. We are so thankful for those who sponsor this little thing we call One Street Over. And one of the big sponsors during the summertime is Veterans Motorplex. Love these guys so much. Jerry, bless his heart, he's like, just keep telling them we're getting ready to go. We're getting ready to go. And that is what we're telling them. They had to, of course, postpone their opening night Saturday. Just some things happened. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to get into it. But they did some track improvements. You know, of course, weather's been an issue off and on. But they're looking at Saturday and they're like, let's go. We're ready to go. So let's get it fired up. And let's get ready and let's have our season opener May 4th at 7:30. He is so excited to see you guys come out and see what they've done with the track. It's like a kid at Christmas saying, come see what we've done. It is awesome. But it's at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. This is a 1/4 mile high banked asphalt bull ring track with local favorites. It's just so much fun. You'll be surprised of some of the names that have run on that track here in little old Robertson County. But this is the old Highland Rim Speedway. They breathed new life into it, and they really have this summer as they've been getting it ready to go for the season. Racing season's March to October. First race is just happening this weekend because of the track improvements that they've made. And maybe they'll run on into November a little bit, depending on weather, to get some few more races in there. But that $40 ticket, that $40 family ticket will get up to 6 kids and 2 adults in for a $40 ticket price. It's a family-friendly environment. You don't have to worry about alcohol and beer and all that being spilled on your kids because they don't let it in there. They have their concession stand, a great concession stand, with great food and treats and things for your kiddos and your family. You'll have a wonderful time. 7:30 is when everything's going to get going. I think the gates open at 6, but you can get out there and that $40 ticket will get up to 6 kids, 2 adults in for one price. 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. For Veterans Motorplex, you can follow them on social media by picking up Highland Rim Speedway. Highland Rim Speedway is how you follow them on social media to get all the latest. But Veterans Motorplex, a proud sponsor of One Street Over, and we appreciate them. Let them know U-Turn sent you when you get out that way. Scott Erwin's in the house talking about all things Veteran Service affiliated, Veteran Service Office here in Robertson County. We got a good one. And they will be at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. Any event coming up. If you want to have these guys, just reach out to your office, right? And say,
Please.
hey, well, maybe we can come out and set up. And if they don't have something else going on, they're going to be we've talked a lot about the homeless situation because they're going to have one of the booths at the My Father's House benefit, which is a car show coming up on the 11th of May at the fairgrounds. And then the 17th and 18th, the veterans, that's probably how I really got started knowing what was going on for our veterans here locally, is because of the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. I've been hosting this thing. They asked me to help host this when they started it. And I've been pretty much there every year. And it is, I get to come and love on the veterans and just talk to them. And, one of the hardest things, though, is I think about the ones that aren't there anymore. The ones that I knew, they just come to my mind out at the Kilgore Park where I got to know them, and the ones that are missing. And they're missing because of, a lot of them, because of what they experienced in Vietnam and what happened to their health because of the things that, they were exposed to. And were you born post-Vietnam or?
75.
Okay. So,
On the back end.
Yeah. Because see, that's the thing. It could affect you.
Yeah.
Because that's what people don't understand. When I hear of somebody like you were talking about, since first thing I thought of when you said your dad served in Vietnam and had service-related issues, how did it affect you? Have you had anything? Because talk to them at Vanderbilt about this, how it changed the DNA structure.
Yeah.
And babies born after Vietnam to soldiers that served can definitely have some issues because of what they were exposed to. Agent Orange was nasty stuff, y'all. And we just sprayed it on our guys. It was nasty. And so have you had any issues that have popped up?
No, ma'am. It's
Well, praise the Lord.
knock on wood.
Yeah, praise the Lord.
Spina bifida for our male veterans is one of the common ones that can be linked. If our female veterans served in areas where they use the herbicides like Agent Orange, there are several other conditions that can be connected. So
keep that in mind. If you had kids, if you're a kid that was born after Vietnam, and you need to keep in mind that can definitely be something, and you need to talk to them at the office because there's benefits to help you with that, and so you don't have to go alone. You don't have to go it alone.
Right.
What else do we need to cover? We're coming up on the top of the hour here, and we'll be switching over to the Go Show. But anything that we've missed this morning, Scott?
A couple of the things that I know my son and I like to do every year is setting flags for Memorial Day.
Oh, yes.
May 23rd at 6 p.m., Greenbrier Cemetery.
Okay.
We're going to be setting flags out there, looking for any assistance if folks like to come out and volunteer.
Let me put that on the calendar.
Again, that's May 23rd at 6 p.m.
May 23rd at 6 p.m., and that's at the Greenbrier?
Greenbrier, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then
go ahead.
We're going to be doing the same thing on May the 29th at Springfield Memorial Gardens. So May 25th at 9 a.m., we'll be out there setting flags for Memorial Day. Any assistance would be appreciated. There's just hundreds and hundreds of flags to set out.
Okay.
And so when we have good volunteer support come out, you might be out there for an hour.
Okay, so 6 p.m. at the Greenbrier Cemetery. Mm-hmm. And that's on the 23rd, and then 9 a.m. at the Springfield Memorial Gardens.
That's it.
On the 25th. And that's placing the flags for Memorial Day. So that's a big thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. That seems to sneak up on me every year.
Yeah, and if you come out,
the next thing I know, the flags are out, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to go do that.
Yeah, and you don't need to bring anything. Just bring yourself.
Yeah.
Abigail, there at Springfield Memorial, they supply all the flags.
Okay.
And so we just need manpower.
Where is the one in Greenbrier? Do you know the address on that? Because because that's while we're going to be still in school. We have a half day on the 24th, but I think I'm at school all day on the 23rd. And boy, that'd be a nice thing just to zip over there and do that after school. But they're in Greenbrier, so because I would love to be a part of that, and it just sneaks up on me every year. Mm-hmm. But so give me what is it right there on the main road? It's not jumping out at me. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. Maybe somebody will throw it up here. But what is it called? The Greenbrier. What's the name of the cemetery?
Greenbrier Cemetery.
Just Greenbrier Cemetery. Okay.
And the address isn't popping up.
Okay, I'll find it. I'm sure somebody will point me in the right direction. But so that would be something you could do after work. If you're like me and you have Gwen and Abigail don't want to get up and come in here. I have to get up early so much. Boy, I guard my Saturdays. I don't get up on Saturday very often unless I have to. Of course, it's baseball. We're doing baseball so much on Saturday right now, but we'll probably be at the baseball field somewhere. But anyway, so that's a good thing. And that's coming up before they'll be back in the studio with us. Now, remember, we're switching our Veteran Service Office visit to the fourth Wednesday this month. And so they're going to be in here on the 22nd. But, and actually, we can talk about the flags then, because the 22nd you'll be in, and that first one's on the 23rd. That'll be the next day. So that'll be a good reminder for us.
Sounds
very good, Scott. Thank you for being a part of the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
And give them your number 2 times and tell them again where to find you if they have some questions about what you do for our veterans.
Absolutely. So our phone number in the office is 615-382-6506. That's 615-382-6506. And we're located at 505 South Brown Street, which is the main Robertson County City building up on the hill. Mm-hmm. And come in 8 to 4:30.
There you go.
Take care of you.
Well, let's talk about, you have what is your walk-in day that you
usually we do appointments on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you're not able to schedule an appointment, come in on Wednesday.
Okay, and that's a walk-in day, but now you
Wednesday.
work remotely Mondays and Fridays.
Correct.
So let's make sure and clear that. But otherwise, come in and see them. If you happen to walk in on the day that's not the walk-in day and they don't have an appointment available on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can make an appointment at that time if you walk in. But this is where you get your traffic, you do your licenses, your passports, all the things, pay your taxes, all the things. That's where we're talking. But they're going to be moving, we think, July or August across the street. So we'll talk to him more about that on the 22nd. And this is Military Appreciation Month. So thank a veteran. Thank you, Scott, for serving. Appreciate you. And thank you guys for joining us for a little thing we call One Street Over. Stay tuned. The Ghost Show is up next. I saw Lee Marie come flying in here, so she'll be here in just a moment. Stick with us for another hour of local information on The Ghost Show here on 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a great day.